Hey guys, thanks for joining me. My name's Eric Garnicki, your mortgage guy. We have a special guest today. His name is Shanne Carvalho. He's out of Santa Cruz County. We're going to talk a lot about what's happening in the market in terms of rate volatility, the environment we're in, also details on what's happening in Santa Cruz County itself, and what we think is going to happen, also some of the details on the inventory, things like that. So I'm excited to bring this guest on. His name's Shanne. Shanne, tell the audience a little more about yourself. Go ahead and introduce yourself.
So my name is Shane Carvalho. I'm with David Ling Real Estate, and actually here live in my home office in Aptos, California. Born and raised here in Santa Cruz County. Have a background in mortgage and construction, and currently been with David Ling and working in sales for the last 11 years or so. And my specific, I guess you'd say, how I, as a realtor, perform is, there's agents out there that are buyers agents, agents that, sellers agents, and I pretty much help both sides. And I guess one of the unique things I bring to the table is with the construction background and having, a team. We're able to help both buyers and sellers make the home work for them, whether they're fixing it up to sell it, or a buyer wants to find a deal, but they don't quite have the ability to transform that property into what their dream home is, or whatever they might want to change. That's where we come in. Being full service, we can help clients actually have the home of their dreams,
Yeah,
uh,
that's
without the
awesome.
stress.
Yeah, that's great. And I'll tell you, I find a lot of buyers being very hesitant in finding a property. A big thing that they're hesitant or reluctant about is construction, right? Like not knowing what to do when you get into a property, how to evaluate whether you're adding in value for the property, or what your construction opportunities are, especially for someone who's never done it. They're a noob. Getting proper guidance and not depending on people you don't like. For example, if you get a contact for a general contractor, you haven't vetted that person out, know if that person's truly credible and giving you good sound advice. So that's what it sounds like you provide to clients, is giving that construction background and then giving the insight that you would do yourself, but for your clients. So it's a huge value add. Now, how long you been in Santa Cruz County for? And you were born there, right? Or no?
Yeah, no, I was born and raised here, and
Okay.
actually, my parents are immigrants from Portugal, so I, grew up.
Obrigado.
Yeah, exactly. Grew up
Nice.
speaking Portuguese and English, and then obviously growing up in an agricultural community here in South County. Grew up speaking Spanish as well, and I've done business with in all three languages for many years.
Wow, that's trilingual. That's not very common. I'm bilingual, and that's pretty good. That's cool. Okay. Now, David Ling's out in Santa Cruz. This is one of the biggest or bigger shops in Santa Cruz County, right?
We just celebrated our 40th anniversary actually on
Oh wow,
April 1st, and we're the largest. Not only are we well, I don't know that we're the largest in number of agents, but we are the largest in production in Santa
good,
Cruz County. We're also the largest privately owned brokerage in the county. So yeah, David Ling is a very dominant brokerage in Santa Cruz
solid,
County, and we do have a few offices, scattered out around the county. We even have an office down in Carmel, Monterey County, and
beautiful.
thanks.
Sounds like you guys are pretty married to the coast, huh?
Yeah, we're not a
Strategically
bad place to
positioned
be.
alongside the coast. That's cool. All right, so tell us more about what's happening in Santa Cruz County. What are you seeing in terms of like homes listed, homes sold, homes pending? What are you seeing?
So it's interesting because, even on our next door neighborhood chat, I mean, everybody has all their different opinions about what they think is happening or what they see is happening. There's those people that are like gloom and doom, and then those people that are just shrugging it off. When you start looking at the numbers, it's interesting because, there have been some people that, have kind of freaked out and maybe canceled their listings. And, there's some people that don't really want people in their homes right now with what's going on, but at the
Yeah.
same time, there's still listings coming on the market. There's still people going into contract. I was looking at numbers, even in the last week here in Santa Cruz County, just in the last 7 days alone, there's 41 new listings on the market.
Oh
Um, you
wow,
know, and
that's a lot
so,
of activity for considering the impact of COVID.
well, it's that versus, I saw five cancellations, and obviously, what I do want to make clear is we're talking about the statistics, what the market's doing, but I don't want to give out the perception either that I don't care about this, that we don't take it seriously, because people's health and safety is number one.
Yeah.
I just want to give you my perspective on what the actual market is doing. I'm not encouraging that we shouldn't care and move forward. I mean, definitely being sensitive to what's going on. It's just that I want to be real with people and have people understand that, although we are an essential business, there is some restriction. We can't have open houses, not really supposed to be showing property physically unless it has to be done. And with that, there's some special rules in place. And so, it's actually reassuring to see these numbers. I mean, I'm not the agent that's looking at the numbers every day. I mean, some agents are more analytical than others. I get
Yeah.
caught up kind of in serving my clients and everything. And, I'll be glancing, but I'm not someone that's on it every day. And now that this has been going on, I find myself checking more often, just out of curiosity. And I was pleasantly surprised this morning when I saw what the numbers were looking like for the last week.
Yeah, it sounds like it's still pretty active. So, are you seeing multiple bids on listings right now? Are you seeing like it's pretty, kind of throttled back? Like, how are you seeing offers coming in on home?
So right now, I'm in the midst of putting some new property on. I have one closing. So, but in speaking with some of my colleagues that have properties at that point, there are still multiple offers on certain properties. I mean, if it's priced right and it's desirable, I mean, people for the most part, venture towards properties that are more turnkey.
Yeah.
So turnkey listings that are priced well, they are still getting multiple offers. And
And define turnkey for the people who don't know what that is.
well, with my background, like I'm not afraid of anything. Like if something needs work, I try to get my buyers to buy something that they can maybe put a little sweat equity into. But because, as you mentioned earlier, a lot of people don't want to deal with having to vet contractors, look for contractors. They might
Yeah.
not have the know-how how to fix something up. So when I say something's turnkey, is that they can pretty much move in. Like they
Yeah.
don't have to install a sink, or they don't have to like completely paint and recarpet the whole place. When I
Yeah.
say turnkey, it's usually a place that, with a deep cleaning, they can move in. Maybe they got to throw in some closet organizers. Maybe there's a couple minor things, maybe a couple light fixtures need to be changed. Maybe the landscape needs to be freshened up. But I mean, yeah, when I say turnkey, it's something that you can pretty much move in and live in, and you don't have to deal with these obstacles.
That's perfect for a first-time home buyer who's not really used to it. They do want to venture out, then you being the big support block for that to give construction background. So that's good, cool. Yeah, on the note of what's happening in terms of activity from the real estate side, on the mortgage side, it's interesting. We're still seeing homes close. Rates have taken a huge swing, right? And a lot of times, during a recession, rates go down. We're not in a recession right now. We're heading towards a bear market, but rates have trended down. We hit record lows. If all of America decided to refinance, and applications for purchases as well went up. And so it kind of clogged the system. Lenders are completely backed up. And so they raised the rates to put a pause on applications. And on top of that, there was the concerns with property hedging on a secondary market. So basically lenders selling the pool of loans to people who buy them and package them. And hedging that property was a concern. So they raised the rates. So a lot of people who are, thinking of buying right now and seeing rates are where they're at, or you have a home and you felt like you missed out on the refinance opportunity back in late February, early March, don't worry about it. It's going to be another cycle. Once the lenders have liquidity again after they fund all their loans, you're going to see an interest rate reduction come back around. So it just goes through a cycle. And same thing with the credit crunch, right? So you have, lenders who have tightened up their guidelines. What we're used to doing is we'll go down to 550 credit score on an FHA. Now it's kind of tightened up where a lot of lenders, we can still go down to 550, but a lot of lenders are requiring at least a 660 on the credit scores for FHAs. Conventional pricing is not as aggressive as it was before, and again, that's going to come back around. Once things start to settle off with Corona, I think you'll see a big turn, which is really, really good. We're still doing the 3% downs, 10% downs, up to 1.5 million with no reserves. So we got a lot of good programs still available. So that's good.
I have a question for you.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I've been hearing about the volatility of rates, from different people and such. And then, I guess from the lending standpoint, obviously things have been a little just strange. Do you have any, like, are any of your borrowers kind of freaking out, like, hurry up and get this done, or is this not going to work? I mean, realistically, I mean, do you see things, sustainable? I mean, are people going to lose their locks, or their loans not going to get funded? Can you kind of maybe quell the fears of some of the feedback I've gotten out there?
Yeah, yeah. So I mean, it's proper mitigation, right? So for example, if you know that you're refinancing a loan, a lot of people who actually have it, is their scenario is really good timing for them to refinance now before there's more guidelines that change and make it harder. They're on board and trying to get it done as soon as possible. But you, in this environment, we don't know who's going to do what with their programs. We've seen a lot of programs go away, and so to secure those programs, we lock the rates and we make sure we can't have the rate expire. So what we're doing is, if we know we're going to close this thing in 30 days for the refinance, let's just be safe and do 45-day lock, right? And if it's a purchase, we're closing purchases in 2 weeks all day long. But it doesn't hurt to do a 30-day lock on a 2 week deal. So that's some of the things we're preparing for, to make sure that doesn't happen. But yeah, to your question, it's just how you manage the locks. Some clients are fearful, not knowing what to do in the market. So I've had clients who are hesitant to buying, but then again, they think that the market's going to go down like it was back in 2008. It's really not the case. You have a lot of qualified buyers, or people who bought homes that it wasn't the case before, where they weren't qualified. So a lot of people were invested. They put a good amount of money into the down payments. It's just a different lending environment. There's so many regulations nowadays that's prevented people from doing fraudulent activity, which was prevalent before. Now it's really heavily regulated. There's a lot of qualified folks. So, and I think that every recession, rates go down, buyer activity goes up because interest rates are down. So the values keep going back up, right? So it's a very gradual thing. So even though it may impact, who knows what's going to happen to Corona? If it's a recession or a correction at its best, that may impact values, but you're going to see a lot of value activity. And what we're seeing now, I'm based in San Jose. I lend in 4 states, and I'm all over the Bay when I finance folks. Whenever I look at data, for example, we have in Silicon Valley, we have about 100, I think it was about 450 or 500,000 renters, and out of that 550,000 renters, 114,000 are well qualified renters, meaning they have the income to qualify for buying. When you think about, you make that comparison to the inventory in the market, there's such a huge, I would say, demand for or supply of buyers with a short inventory of listed homes. And so that supply chain, I think it's going to be very strong. So, and I see a similar data in Santa Cruz County too, right?
Yeah, well, I mean, basically at this point, this lockdown, or I shouldn't say lockdown, but this shelter in place.
I feel like
Yeah, sorry.
taking it back of the shares.
I've been seeing too many jokes on social media.
Yeah,
No, I'm just gonna say that, right now this is extending through May 3rd, and so who knows if this will get extended or not. In the meantime, we're all just safely trying to do, our jobs, and you know, people are reaching out. Out of the blue, past client recently reached out. He wants to sell his condo, move into a house. I mean, there's people that are, carrying on. And then unfortunately, there are also people right now that have a lot of question marks around their business or their
yeah,
employment. We have a lot of hospitality here on the coast. And so there's a lot of people whose jobs are tremendously affected. So, just kind of day by day, we'll see where things go. At the end of the day, being in this business for 21 years, we've seen a lot.
yeah. There's a lot of
We've had,
cycles in 21 years.
yeah, well, especially in the last 20 years here. I mean,
Yeah,
what we've seen the best of the best, the worst of the worst. I know we'll get through it.
yeah.
We always get through it. And in the meantime, just keep hoping everyone stays safe, everybody, makes it through, and we look forward to business as usual again.
Yeah. And then for the folks, I want to give a quick a mention about mortgages. A lot of people you're seeing on the media about deferring mortgages and not paying your mortgage. I want to just make sure that the clear distinction between a forbearance and forgiveness. So trying to help out people who actually currently own a home, who are thinking of deferring the mortgage. Be very cautious in doing so. Call the servicer. Make sure you find out the exact terms, because if they forbear your mortgage means you're relieving yourself and making the payments for the first 3 months, but on month 4, that's a balloon payment you have to make up for the last 3 months plus the fourth month. That could be overwhelming, right? So making sure you calculate that. Now, for the business owners, what we'll do is also link a couple links for the emergency, I can't recall right now, but EIDL. It's a grant for self-employed people, and a PPP a loan, which ends up being part of it, I think, forgiven. But we'll do the links down in a video, so that can maybe help the people that that currently own businesses or own a home, and help them out. So be very cautious. The other thing I was going to mention is, and if you guys, any of you guys would like to know more about rates, what you can do to be able to save money and reapply that back into, say, your mortgage or family vacation, or even use that to invest in stocks where they're on sale, kind of. Let me know. Give me a shout. I'll give you a quote. Take me less than a minute to run some numbers, let you know what we can do. But other than that, Shane, that's good information you gave. I did not know that about Santa Cruz. You guys are still sounds like you're very active, right? Especially with the pendings and listed market or listed homes on the market and what's been canceled. So that's a really good ratio you guys have. So where can folks find you if they want to learn more about you, or just
Well, you can
home buying journey?
Well, you can reach out. I mean, everybody obviously has what they like to do. I mean, you can call me, obviously. I have a website. All my information's there. It's
Cool.
ShanneCarvalho.com. First name SHANNE, and Carvalho is CARVALHO.com. And if you don't mind, maybe you can just add a link down there. And
Yeah, absolutely.
always
Absolutely.
happy to answer any questions or give any support any way that I can.
/obrigado. I'm kidding. All
We'll
right,
have to
cool.
teach you a few more. We'll teach you a few more words.
Yeah, I do. I'm so limited to obrigado. I was in Brazil. That's why I just kept on getting stuck. But okay, cool. Well, thanks again for your time. Really appreciate it.
Thank you. Yeah, appreciate
We're
you.
going to come back around next month, and for the month end, excuse me, and do another market update to give you guys some intel, keep you guys in tune and know what's going on. And if you have any questions, again, feel free to give either one of us a shout. Till then, take care and talk with you soon.
Thanks so much.